now, and this is going to be a video afterwards, so sorry for my phone going off, but if you could leave a like and a comment, that would be super appreciated. And today we're actually going to be doing a Q&A, so we're going to be waiting for some people. So I've got some Supergirl questions all wrapped up and all ready for this actual live stream, so this is going to be a video afterwards, like I said. So yeah, it would be appreciated if you left a thumbs up. So we're just going to wait for some people, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions so far. So I'm going to be answering them, and then maybe I will spiral off near the end to actually answer some of the live chats questions. So hey guys, welcome. We got some people coming in here, and yeah, so on the screen you will see a slideshow of obviously some major points within the episode, what I thought is very cool and what I thought, you know, deserves to be showcased on the video. So yeah, welcome guys. So like I said before, if you weren't here at the start, I'm going to be answering some Q&A questions that you guys have given me. So I've got 7 of those, and after that I will spiral off, like I said before, and answer some of you live chat viewers questions. Sorry for that. So yeah, let's go on to answer the first question. You know, I'm going to be giving you guys a breakdown of, you know, what your question is, and obviously some actual theories regarding that, because most of it is speculation. So the first question is, do you think the hand in the ship at the end of 3x04 was from someone apart from the Legion of Superheroes or other world killers? So I have this theory right now, so I know a lot of people jump into the conclusion, oh, it's probably Mon-El, or it's someone from the Legion. Yes, it's possible, but I highly doubt they will do that, because the DEO would have detected Mon-El actually coming back, and remember, he went out into space, and what's the point in just retconning that and bringing him back? So I actually go into detail as to why I don't think that is in probably a later video. I will do that, but yeah, I don't think it's Mon-El or any of the Legion, even though some people were trying to be breaking down the, you know, what it says on the pod, and I think someone asked a question about that later, but we'll get onto that. So I don't think it's anyone from the Legions, and I actually do think it could be possibly the world killers, because in the comics there's more than one world killer, and if you're going to make, you know, a world killer, which is in fact Rain, you need to make prototypes before. So Rain is the finished product, and they probably have prototypes. So my theory is that the person with the hand on the wall of the actual capsule is actually a world killer, but I think it's probably a doppelganger, but not really a doppelganger of Rain. It's just, you know, a clone of Rain. That's the better terminology. So that's what I think is in the pod. So the next question, what kind of powers will Rain have, and will she be even more powerful than Supergirl? So in the comics, Rain has very, very similar powers to Supergirl, and in the TV show she will probably have the same powers. So she's going to be able to fly, she's got super strength, and obviously throughout the season she's going to get more powerful and powerful as her actual powers progresses, because she's actually unaware that she truly has powers. She thought that the first time she experienced powers was just a one-off, and was like, yeah, she's not totally sure as to what happened there. But yeah, she's going to be really powerful, and most villains are more powerful than the actual heroes at first, and the hero actually has to try and get around that and find another way to defeat the actual villain. And it does seem like Rain, because she's going to be a world killer, she's going to be more powerful than Supergirl. I have no doubt about that. So another question. So whatever Barry was writing on the walls in the Flash is the same as what's on Sam's face. What does this mean? So guys, just to wrap this up, what Barry was writing is totally separate from what Rain actually has on her face. Rain actually has kryptonite, sorry, not kryptonite, kryptonium writing on her face. She doesn't actually have Speed Force symbols. That's what Barry was writing. We're not actually 100% on that, but definitely Barry was not writing Kryptonian. So that answers that question. So another question, I got a theory for you. Want to know what if the daughter is actually a clone of Reign, so he's inferring to Ruby, but both came out of the pods and the daughter was a clone still baking. The story is there is no father. So I actually really like that theory because, you know, she keeps on emphasizing the fact there is no father. And potentially, even though it wouldn't really make sense how she's now an adult, maybe she came out and she was a clone and she was wiped of her actual memory, and maybe that's how she's actually you know, raised her. She actually hasn't properly raised Ruby. She's just been, you know, around, and obviously her memory probably has been altered because she was created. So I think that potentially could be a good theory, although there is some plot holes in that actual theory. Yeah, it's pretty good, and I do think that it's a bit weird how Ruby has actually come to be, because if she isn't created, like, how does Reign actually have the ability to reproduce like a normal Kryptonian or human? That's a bit weird. I'm not 100% on that, on her actual biology of her actual self, so we'll see about that. But yeah, so yeah, the next question is actually to do with the Flash. So I did include a few Flash ones, but I'm not going to put that in the title. So who is DeVoe? DeVoe is the Thinker, and the Thinker is actually the main villain of the season. That's as simple as I can put it. And in episode 4 we got some Snow Barry interacting with each other. What do you think we'll see from them in the future? I think they're just going to keep on progressing their friendship, as you know, they are probably the core of the show, I would say, including Cisco as well. And I really like Snow Barry as a friendship. West Allen's great as a relationship, and I think it's just going to progress from there. So I'll go back to the Supergirl questions now. I'm going to answer some chat questions, so let me try and read. What do you think the writing on Sam's face actually said? So Katie, I would say it's just like a load of Kryptonian writing, because obviously it's just hinting at us that she's part of this. She's actually a Kryptonian, and she obviously doesn't know what's written on her face, and to be honest, I doubt we could ever decipher all of that Kryptonian, because there's quite a lot of that. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that. And I think Mon-El, I've got a Mon-El video coming out probably in about an hour after the stream or so. So I actually wrap up a load of updates to do with Mon-El, so be sure to check that out. But I think Mon-El will return in episode 7, that is my guess, because Saturn Girl is reported to be in that episode, so I think that'll be a good time to actually bring him back. And also, I wanted to talk about the actual, you know, demonic figure that we saw at the end of episode 4. I think that is actually, in my opinion, one of her makers, and that these creations of theirs actually have this alter ego type situation. As we know, she's been dreaming of this demonic figure, and I think in episode 1 the demonic figure that we actually saw was Reign, and it is Samantha, and it's like her it's her alter ego. That's what's within her. She could potentially change into that. So I do think that she's got this alter ego, and it might actually, as the season goes on, progress, and actually she might mutate into that form. I think that would be awesome, because a lot of people were kind of upset by the fact that the new suit has this annoying, not very well made mask, but the suit is really cool, and more people wanted CGI, because in episode 1 we got teased with that demonic figure and everyone was so hyped about that. I'm pretty sure everyone was. So I bet that she's going to actually progress and change into that by the end of the season. That's probably my best theory as of now. And I think the person that actually came in her vision is actually one of her makers, and they have probably been created themselves, or that it's just in there because the maker was actually in her mind. She could potentially be seeing, you know, different alternate forms of what she is actually going to turn into, and I think it's just a bit of foreshadowing. So yeah, let's read this. No, he hasn't. Chris Wood actually hasn't posted a photo of his character in the Valor suit. He hasn't even posted about returning to, you know, his whereabouts as to when he's actually returning in Supergirl, because obviously he's not allowed to. And if he posted a picture of him in the Valor suit, he would probably be executed by the executive producers and all the people higher up. Yeah, you think Reign's makers are in the tubes? Well, that could definitely be something. That could be a bit of a use of foreshadowing. Like I said, I think there's a lot of foreshadowing used within these final scenes. And if it is Reign's makers and not potentially the World Killers, or, you know, clones of Reign, I think that's a very good theory, because maybe they wanted to survive themselves, and obviously whenever they wake up they can continue their work knowing that Reign is actually on Earth with them. So yeah, they're in some sort of stasis tube. So I'm super excited to see, because I love that horror element that they added in the end, and I think it's like just a really good move by Supergirl. Supergirl's been so good right now. Do you think Batman's on Earth 38? I think potentially, because Bruce Wayne's confirmed to be on Earth 1. I don't see why he shouldn't be on Earth 38 or somewhere else. So potentially Batman could come, but I really doubt they would actually do that, because he's such a big thing in the film. So what do you think will happen to Ruby when Sam reigns? Yeah, see, that's a tricky thing. I think maybe someone that we know will take her in, because she won't obviously have anywhere to go because she doesn't have a dad. And yeah, so it's a bit confusing with what they're actually going to do with Ruby. I feel kind of bad, because, you know, Samantha's such a good mum and she's going to turn into this supervillain. Like, what's going to happen to her? That's crazy. So Ruby could die, guys. Fingers crossed not. I think she's a good actress, a good young actress, and I think she's a lot better than the young actress we have in Arrow right now for William. I'm not a very big fan of him. I think Ruby's doing a much better job, and she's played quite a big part in the season, so I don't want her to die. So basically, when they actually did the hole, when Supergirl lasered the hole through the ground underneath the stadium, they just chucked the beta proton device. I don't know, it was some sort of bomb, right? A Kryptonian bomb, basically, a ticking time bomb. Hi DC Marvel United. Hi Adrian. So when that actually dropped and it actually exploded, it basically created like a mini shockwave, like a earthquake, think like that. And when that happened, it actually, because the pod was underwater and it was not connected to the ground but next to the ground, and it was shook, and actually you know, awakened the actual machine, because we see this quite a lot in films, you know, when there's a tremor and an old piece of equipment actually turns on. So basically like that. And yeah, so it just, you know, was a way to actually incorporate the blue pod that we saw during episode 1 into the actual season. So I don't really have anything else to say, because I'm just going to keep this as a much shorter video every week, because this is just my live Q&A for Supergirl, and I'm going to try and do the Flash if I remember to do it. So these streams are going to be shorter than my normal streams, because my normal streams are just, you know, chat streams. We just talk to each other, we answer the questions, but these are more, you know, dedicated, so we can't talk forever. And yeah, so anyway guys, thank you for tuning into the stream. I should be streaming sometime later this week if I have time. You guys spam me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, and remind me to stream, because I do forget a lot. And I really enjoy streaming. So anyway guys, I will catch you guys later. I've got a Mon-El Supergirl video coming out much later today, like an hour or so from now. So be sure to subscribe if you're not. and also be sure to leave a like, as it's really appreciated giving me feedback. So anyway guys, I'll catch you guys later for the Mon-El video. Goodbye.